Hi, Paul from Bare Knuckle Performance here with Mike. We're here to talk to you guys about our Overbearing
and the Overbearing 2.0.
So when we introduced the Overbearing years ago, we found that there was a need for a product that would help us maintain concentricity between our main shaft and our main drive gear. What can happen on the 1964 and earlier transmissions, especially with an open belt drive, bigger horsepower, poor alignment, you'll get excess bearing wear on the inside of the drive gear. It's just a bronze bushing in there, so it's easy to wear out. Now in 1965, Harley came along. They introduced the electric start. You get a bigger primary, and they incorporated a primary bearing right here. So in essence, it eliminated that problem. But you're out of luck if it's 1964 and earlier. So we came up with the overbearing. What the overbearing does is it takes place of the main shaft nut, but then it adds a bearing out here. So you're gaining that concentricity that you need. And now we will demonstrate for you before and after. So what we've done here, we put an indicator on this shovel head transmission to show you exactly how much wear you can get in that bushing. So you're gonna see it's a good 12 to 15 thousandths of wear, which is you're gonna have oil leaks everywhere. Eventually that bearing is gonna completely wear out, and it could result in failure. So what we're gonna show you now is the effect that an outboard bearing support would have, or a primary bearing. So this is the solution if you have a shovel head transmission. So now you see Mike has torqued down our outer bearing support, and he'll demonstrate that you have now gone from 15 thousandths play to a thou or two. So pretty good. But again, if you have a 64 transmission, 64 earlier, you do not have this option. So that's where the overbearing comes in. So what Mike's going to do right now is he's going to take off the OEM drive gear nut. The lock tabs have already been flattened, and he's going to go ahead and just using his 9-finger fabrication sprocket removal tool. So this is our original overbearing. This was designed to work with all OEM components. That's going to be OEM sprocket, OEM drive gear, and an OEM clutch hub and basket. So there should be no issue putting this together using all OEM components. So what Mike's going to do now is he's going to install the original overbearing, and once he gets it threaded on a good ways, what he's going to use is actually a 6-speed main drive gear nut socket. So you can get that from your local dealership. If you don't already have one in the toolbox, it is not the same as the original 4-speed. Now we're going to put the indicator back on it and show you how the overbearing, again, maintains our concentricity. So now you'll see with the overbearing installed, no outer bearing support, we're getting about the same as the outer bearing support we had on earlier, 1 or 2 thousandths, which is just perfect. All right, so now you'll notice that Mike has installed the overbearing, and he's going to show you that we're only going to have about a thou or two of play. And that's basically the main drive gear body going through the case bearing. You know, you have to have a little bit of movement or things don't roll. So this is perfect. This is going to cut down on excessive leakage. It's going to cut down on premature bearing wear. And the most important thing is it's going to protect your panhead, knucklehead, flathead transmission case from catastrophic failure. So now what we'll do is we're going to take this apart. We're going to show you why we came up with our second overbearing. So when we came up with the original overbearing, I designed this to work with all OEM components. And again, that's going to be your OEM main drive gear, OEM sprocket spacer, and an OEM clutch hub and shell. If you go to anything aftermarket, the biggest problem we were seeing is aftermarket clutch hubs, you know, for open belt primaries and such. What can happen is they beef that up, and it will actually contact this bearing before properly seating on the tapered shaft of our 4-speed, which means your clutch hub is not locked down and the taper hasn't seated. So what people would do is they would grind a little bit off the back of their clutch hub. Well, to fix that problem, we came up with this one, which is actually 1/8 of an inch thinner. So now, regardless of sprocket, hub, and spacers, within reason, you're going to have more than enough clearance. This bearing actually has the exact same dynamic and static load characteristics as the original bearing. It's just an 1/8 of an inch thinner. So people that don't know about this product are just, I mean, you can build, like, 4-speeds are great because it's just like an old tractor. They'll run forever and they can run loose, but you will start to get leaks. So they're either dealing with their leaks, they're rebuilding their transmission more often, or they're not riding as much as they might like to, because there's no way around it. It's the weakest link on that transmission. In 1964 and earlier, without the primary support ears, you need the overbearing for your bike. So that wraps us up for that. Like, comment, subscribe. We've got a really cool series coming up. It's a multi-part series on our Pan America project. You can watch me as I go down and visit Danger Dan and then ride a brand new Pan America with almost no miles on it home on New Year's Day this year. And I get off into some pretty gnarly stuff in Arkansas. And then you're going to be able to follow us through the whole development of a new parts line. So check us out.